Hello, everybody, and welcome to this webinar called Unleashing Your Prosperity Mindset. So if you want to double your income, this is the place to be. So what we're going to cover in this webinar is, firstly, we want to understand what is your money ceiling. Secondly, I'm going to share with you 3 keys to unleashing your prosperity mindset. And lastly, I'm going to share with you a very special offer to quantum leap to that prosperous life. All right. When we talk about quantum leaping, we are used to living in this 3D world where, it takes time and there's time and space. So it takes a while for us to create what we want. And I'm going to show you a way where we're going to really fast track that. So a little bit about my story. The reason that I do what I do is that many, many years ago when I got divorced, I had the limiting belief that money does not buy happiness, right? So I walked out of that divorce thinking, if I'm not happy, I don't need money. So I didn't ask for anything. I just went, right? Today, if anybody's going through a divorce, I will always advise them to be fair, but to get what is yours, right? And then coming out of that, because my energy was so low, I then attracted people on a very low vibration as well. And I attracted this person into my life that when I first met him, I thought, oh my God, this man is like a godsend. He is so amazing. And then a year into that relationship, I had lost to him all of my money, everything. And I had resigned from teaching, which meant I had my entire pension payout paid to me. All of that money was gone. He not only maxed out my credit cards, but because I was so trusting and I gave him access to that, he increased the limit to the max. He then maxed out my bank accounts, overdrafts, increased the limits to the max, all of that. And this happened over 20 years ago. So then we didn't have apps on our phone with notifications when there's withdrawals and stuff. Once a month, you'd get a statement coming in the mail. And when the statement came and I saw what he had done with my account, I was in an absolute state of shock. And the last thing was that, he had taken all of my jewelry because he said he was going to start this amazing business, and he needed that money to start up, so we'll pawn this, but he will get it back, as soon as this starts. This is the income, and yeah, okay, fine, give the jewelry. And it was amazing jewelry that I had. And the last thing that he did was that he took my car and then he disappeared. So I had no car, no money, huge debts, and this man just disappeared. So there was a point in time when I was so devastated that I found myself lying on the floor, on the tiles, and sobbing my heart out. I really, really just wanted to die. It was easier to jump off a bridge than to face another day. I was so ashamed of myself. And I said, I'm an intelligent woman. How did I make the dumbest of mistakes? How did I do that? How did I trust this person so much? So I was ashamed of myself. I couldn't even share that story with my closest family. I could not share it. So I felt completely alone. I had no help. I had no way of getting out of it. And I don't know how long I lay there on the floor, sobbing my heart out. It could have been an hour or 3 hours. I don't know. But at one point, I heard this little voice in my head saying, you will not just survive this, you will thrive. And I latched on to that tiny little voice. And after a while, I found myself repeating that. I will not just survive this, I will thrive. I will not just survive this, I will thrive. And eventually, I picked myself up and I said, okay, I am going to turn this around. I don't know how, but I'm going to do it. So I had to walk to the bank because my car was gone. I had to take a walk to the bank and say, okay, I know I owe all of this money. Let's make a plan and I will pay this off. Over the next year, 2 years, I don't know, but I will make a plan and I will do it. I had to do that with everything. He had racked up massive telephone bills, so the telephone was cut off. I had to go and make plans, I will pay this off. So I had no telephone. And back in the day, we had landlines, right? So no telephone, no car. It was like I was completely cut off from the world. And I promise you, what I did then is I used to take a walk to the library and borrow books. I read like 4 books a week. I think for almost a year, I read like 4 books a week because I was just hungry for knowledge. I wanted to know, why do bad things happen to good people? Why am I here? What is my purpose? Why did I have to go through such an extreme experience in my life? And, I realized today that I had to go through that experience so that other people don't need to. And that's why I'm here. That is my story. So my programs have evolved over the years. The more I learned, the more I experienced, the more I shared with people, the more I saw their results. I kept tweaking it until here I stand in front of you today. And I have this goal where I want to help 1,000 small businesses double their income. And the reason I'm saying double your income, because by the time you double your income, you would then have in your hands the formula to do that. And then you will double it again and again and again, right? So the goal is to become conscious millionaires. And I'm not talking in rands when I say millionaires, right? It's easy to become a rand millionaire, but we're talking about other currencies. So what is this money ceiling that we talk about? So if you take your last 12 months income and then you add that up, divide by 12, it'll give you your average monthly income. And that amount is actually your money ceiling. Because what happens is when you have a money ceiling, you get up to that ceiling and then you fall down. If you go above that ceiling, you'll find that you rack up expenses. So the more money you make, the more expenses you create. Sometimes we lend the money and it doesn't come back. Sometimes we'll go and invest it somewhere where we lose the money. So we'll do whatever to come back to that ceiling, which is your comfort zone. But I like to actually call that your discomfort zone because it's never the most comfortable place you can be with money. All right, but there's a reason we do that because there's some part of us telling us that we don't deserve more or we don't know how to create more. All right, and we're going to cover that. So I'm going to cover 3 keys to unleashing your prosperity mindset. And the first key is reprogramming your mind. The second key, sorry if I'm a bit distracted, I'm letting people in as we're talking, right? So the first key is reprogramming your mind. The second key is balancing your masculine and feminine energies. Now, if something here sounds foreign to you, because the third one is using the universal laws of success and prosperity. So if it sounds foreign to you, that's a good thing, because if it is everything that you already know, then change can't actually happen. Just like Einstein says, you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. So the same thinking, your past thinking, your past experiences, your past actions has led you to where you are right now. And you have your ceiling, right? So this is where you are right now. But if we want more than that, the same thinking is not going to get you there. We're going to have to change the thinking. We're going to have to learn, evolve, grow, show up differently so that we can achieve so much more. So that is why if something here is foreign to you, it's a good thing, right? So let's start with the first key to unleashing your prosperity mindset, and that is reprogramming the mind. So to reprogram, I have to understand how the mind is programmed in the first place. So let's go back to the first 7 years of your life. So our brain in the first 7 years is in what we call an alpha mode. And the alpha state is almost like a hypnotic state. now as adults, you'll know that state when you are meditating, or when you just get up in the morning and you're still half asleep, half awake, or when you're drifting off to sleep. It's that, or when you're daydreaming, you forget where you are. That's the alpha state. So in the first 7 years of our lives, our brain is in that alpha state. And the reason for that is it's a state of rapid learning. It's almost like we get programmed or hypnotized in that time, because you need to learn, firstly, to crawl, then to walk. You need to eat, learn to eat for yourself. You need to learn people, places, colors, all of those things. You're learning so much in the first 7 years of your life, all right? The thing is that the mind does not say, this is a strong, healthy belief, I'll take it in. This is a very limiting belief, I'm not going to take that in. So we take in everything, right? So when we go back and look at the first 7 years of our lives, we need to ask ourselves, what did we hear in terms of money, in terms of prosperity, wealth? What did we hear? Did we hear words like, oh, the stinking rich, or money doesn't grow on trees, and money doesn't buy happiness? What did we hear? Because is it like, or that's them, the rich people, and us, and we're separating ourselves from money? What did we hear? Because it was programmed into us and we didn't do that consciously. So the other way that we get programmed is relationships, right? So when we're in relationships, what's the other person's attitude towards money? So let's take, for example, there's a person in your life that loves you very, very much, but you're constantly saying to this person, you're not enough. You don't do enough for me. You're never there when I need you. I don't really always like having you around. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Do you think that person is going to stay in your life? Obviously not, right? Now I want you to imagine that that person is money. What is it that we say to money? What is our relationship with money? How often are we saying, I never have enough money. I need this amount of money now, it's not here. What do? I'm tired of these debts. I'm tired of struggling. The economy is so bad. This is your language with money. So that's your relationship with money, right? And if that's our relationship with money, why would money stay? Okay. Then there's the external circumstances that we feel determine our money mindset. So we talk about, oh, well, this is the economy right now. Things are tough, things are bad. And we say this because everybody's saying it. But even in the worst of times, there are always people thriving because they have a different mindset. Because the mindset is on, what can I do? How can I solve this? How can I work within this framework and still succeed and still be successful, right? So it's a shift away from what we think are the problems and the obstacles into what we can do in our personal capacity. And then, of course, life experiences, like my life experiences around money, made me feel very insecure around money, made me feel that, people are just there to use you. So I became very untrusting. Can you see what the life experiences does to us? And then it takes a long time for us to then go and heal all of those wounds and get to this place where we can now build something completely different. Right? So what are your life experiences around finances? Now, when we want to reprogram, every time you have a thought, the neurons in your brain fire. You have the same thought, it fires again. You have the same thought, it fires again. Eventually, those neurons that fire together will wire together. And when it wires together, at that point, it has formed a belief. You now see that as truth and you do not question it. Right? So if you've said money doesn't buy happiness enough times, you buy into that belief. If we say times are really tough enough times, we create that as our truth and we don't look outside that, because that for us is true. It's not true, but just for us, we believe that. So when you start reprogramming your mind, the good thing about human beings is that we can generate original thoughts. So we're not like AI, because AI will give you the best email or the best book or the best whatever you ask it to write for you, an article or whatever, but it draws from everything that has already been written before, because it's drawing from the internet, right? But human beings are actually capable of original thoughts. So when you decide it's time for me to switch my thinking around money, and you make money good, I'm a good person and I can do so much good with more money. So you start switching the way you think. And the more you insert these positive statements around money, so the neurons fire and they fire. Eventually they wire together. Now you have a new belief, right? And to reprogram the mind, it requires that growth mindset. Because like I said, you can't solve your problems with the same thinking that created it. So we need to say, I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to grow. I'm willing to see different perspectives. I'm willing to get myself to a place where I feel confident in the marketplace, where I put myself out there. I'm willing to be seen. I'm willing. And all of that requires us to have a growth mindset. If we are stuck and we say, oh, well, I don't want to learn anymore. I don't like reading. I don't like, if you don't like that kind of stuff, then you've put the ceiling there, the ceiling stays in place, right? So the second way of unleashing your prosperity mindset is to balance your masculine and feminine energies. Now, this might sound strange to you, but both men and women carry both masculine and feminine energy, right? So the sad thing is that in today's world, if you are in the work world, if you own your own business, you'll find that you are predominantly in your masculine energy. So the masculine energy is governed by the left side of the brain. It is logical. So think about it, right? What do you do in your workday? You're making decisions all day. You're setting goals. You're strategizing. You're analyzing. You're taking action. This is all masculine energy, right? And what we've done is we've suppressed our feminine energy in the workplace. But some of the most successful people in the world, like Richard Branson, Steve Jobs, these are people that tapped into their feminine energy, that state of that intuition, the guidance that comes from within. I know Richard Branson says some of the biggest deals he's closed, he made the decision in 5 minutes because a gut feel said to him, this is good, go for it. So I'm not saying we are going to swing from one to the other and stay there, but I'm saying instead of using just the left side of our brain, what if we now activate the right side of our brain as well, which is the feminine side? And this is a state of being. Can we actually come into this present moment and come into a state of being, not just acting all the time? From the state of being, you open up. While the masculine is giving, the feminine is receptive. So when you're in your masculine energy, you're taking care of everybody else. You're just giving and giving and giving all the time. And at some point, you're going to feel depleted, tired, overwhelmed, exhausted, right? But when you bring in both of these energies, just as you give a good product, you give a great service, you're open to receiving money as well for what you are giving. So the feminine energy allows you to open up to receive. It taps into your intuition. And we don't want to just be in our feminine because we don't want to spend the day daydreaming and, we have this great gut feel about something, but we're not taking action, right? So that's being excessively feminine. So when we balance these two, you're using your whole brain. Now you're coming into a state of wholeness. So you tap into that intuition, which will give you the guidance for right action. So you don't need to act and then, oh, that didn't work. Let's scrap that. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's do the next thing. Act until you're overwhelmed. Now you're going in, you're getting the intuition, which is going to guide you. That's the right person. No, stay away from that. This is the right direction for you. This opportunity will open many doors for you. No, stay away from that one. So when you can tap into that intuition, then when you take action, it's the right action, which means you achieve so much more in a shorter space of time. Okay? Because imagine if you had to go through your entire day with one hand tied behind your back. That is what it's like when we only use one half of our brain, right? So imagine the whole day. You get up in the morning, one hand is behind your back, trying to brush your teeth, go to the loo, you're trying to make yourself coffee, breakfast, take a shower, whatever, with one hand tied behind your back, driving to work, working all day, getting back home. Really difficult, right? So when we start using both hemispheres of our brain, when we embrace both our masculine and feminine energies, we come into our true, authentic selves. And from this place, you'll achieve your best life. And the third key to unleashing your prosperity mindset is using the universal laws of success and prosperity. So just as we have physical laws, for example, the law of gravity, it doesn't matter how tall or short you are, what color your hair or your eyes or your skin is, what country you come from, what language you speak, right? Doesn't matter. If you jump off a building, you're going to hit the ground, right? We are kept here on the planet through the law of gravity, keeping us grounded on the earth, okay? So that universal, that physical law applies to everybody. There's no exceptions to that. Likewise, there are universal laws, and whether we know it or not, it applies to everybody. So when we're living our lives in accordance with these laws, life flows, energy flows, money flows. But when we are living and we're going against, we're pushing against these laws, then we hit struggle after struggle, challenge after challenge, and we wonder why. Why is life so tough? Why is it that I'm trying so hard, but I'm not really getting ahead? So if I asked you right now, what is the chance of you increasing your income in the next 12 months 10 times? What's the chance of you doing that? So in the chat, just pop a message there. You know, is it yes, there's a 10% chance I could do that, or a 50% chance, or 100% chance I'm going to 10x my income in the next 12 months. What is it for you? You just pop those answers in there, right? And then let's see what we've got. Yeah, I think most people, some are saying 100%. Great. Can you tell me how? What is going to be different from the last 12 months that you can 10 times your income? Most people say impossible, right? Okay, some of you are saying yes, 100% you can 10 times your income in the next 12 months, which is a fantastic mindset to have. But how would you do that? You need to know the hows, right? But let's say you're thinking, okay, this is my job or this is my business. This is what I'm earning right now. So in order for me to 10x that, new habits, new actions. Yes, totally true. So you can see everything is inside you. Hey, the changes must come from within you. Brilliant. For anyone that says less than 100%, I want to ask you this. Let's reframe the question and say, think of every person you love, you absolutely, totally love in your life. Think about your pets that you love, everything that you love in your home, all the memories and everything that you have. If you did not 10x your income in the next 12 months, and all of that stuff will be taken away from you. Now, what are your chances of 10xing your income in the next 12 months? That's going to be 100% for everybody, right? And the only difference in the question is that this is giving you a purpose, a strong, strong why. Human beings don't make major changes in their lives unless they have a strong motivation to change, right? And having that purpose, having the why, is the thing that actually skyrockets your income. huge motivation, changing mindset, new habits, fantastic. All right. So we want to create wealth consciously, which means it's a formula that I use called 4W. The 4Ws are, the first one is it is a win for you. So that means the amount of time and energy you're giving to your job or however you're earning your income, the money coming in is an equal balance. You don't feel I'm overworked and underpaid, right? You feel I'm putting out this work and I'm receiving income from it that is equal. You also have peace of mind. You're doing what you love. You have a balanced life, so you're not spending 90% of your time at work and you're exhausted and your family is not seeing you. So there's a nice balance going on there. The second W is that it is a win for your company. So whether it's your own business or it's a company you're working for, if it is a win for that company, the company stays in business, which means all the staff continue to get paid. And does that company then treat their staff well? The third W is a win for your customer or your client. So when they pay you and they receive excellent service or an excellent product from you, they are really happy. They're happy to pay you because they're happy with what they are receiving. So that's the third W. And the fourth W is that it is a win for the greater good, which means it's a win for your family, your community, your country, the world, the earth. Right? So none of these elements suffer because of the income that you are bringing in. Okay? So when we follow the 4W formula, we find that we are consciously creating wealth. Most people don't create wealth because they think money is the root of all evil. Right? So it's like, look at all the evil that's happening in the world, the wars, and all of that takes a lot of money. But we can switch that thinking around and say, if I'm consciously creating wealth and I'm using this 4W formula, then I'm putting out a lot of good and I deserve to be paid really, really well for that. So you need to become the person that lives the life you desire. So if you want to 10x your income, you've got to become that person first. Internally, you've got to become that person that's earning that money. How do they dress? How do they walk? How do they speak? Where do they go? What do they do? Right? What does that life look like? You've got to become that person internally first. No matter what your previous experience with money has been, I want to remind you that your future is not fixed. I love this because too often people say, your past dictates your future. And I'm saying, hell no, it does not. Not if you are conscious, you hit the pause button on your life and you say, okay, what in my past has served me? I'm going to take that into my future. But what in my past has not served me? That's the stuff I want to get rid of. And when I do that, when I start shifting that, releasing that, healing that, when I do that, I come to a point of neutral. And from here, I can learn, grow, evolve, and I can really create the future that I ultimately deserve and desire. So you have your 3 keys, right? So now, how do we take a quantum leap? So the way we operate in this 3D or third dimensional world is we are governed by space and time. So if I say I want to go to a place that's 100 kilometers away, and I am traveling at an average speed of 100 kilometers an hour, it stands to reason it will take me 1 hour to reach that destination. Time and space, right? 1 hour and I will be there. But when we work with the 5D consciousness, so the 5D consciousness is quantum. So quantum is energy, and energy is happening right here, right now. There is no past and future. It is all happening now. So it condenses time and space into this present moment. So that means that what you do right now is a radical shift. So when you align yourself with what it is you want, you can take a quantum leap into that alternate reality, that 5D reality. Manifesting from the 5D is so fast, it will make your head spin, because you'll realize, like, why didn't I do this before? Like in the past, we would, at the start of every year, we'd sit down and we'd set out these SMART goals. A lot of companies are still doing that. And they're teaching you to be realistic. And when you put a time frame to it, you're saying, this will take me 6 months. That big goal is bigger. It's going to take me a year. This is my 5-year. This is my 10-year plan. But when you're working with the quantum model, you are collapsing time and space. So you can achieve things so much faster. All right. So what I've done is I've taken all of what I've given you and a ton more, and I've put it into a program called Becoming a Conscious Millionaire. And again, millionaire, not in rand terms, right? So when we do this, that means it's good for us, it's good for the planet, it's good for everybody. Everybody wins. And what we do is we create a radical shift within ourselves in our money consciousness, in terms of what is available for us, who is out there, what we can achieve. We create this radical shift inside of ourselves. The first step is always to find and remove the blocks, because as long as the blocks are there, think about this like a tug of war. We all know tug of war, right? We got the rope, we got on one end is all of the goals and desires that you have. On the other end is everything that is blocking you from achieving that, the mental blocks, the emotional blocks, the behavioral blocks. So every time you're pulling on this end of the rope, this end of the rope is pulling you back. So you're moving, but you're coming back. You're moving. This is where the money ceiling comes in, right? Because there's a pull from both ends of the rope. So when you release this, you heal this, you drop this end of the rope, what happens? Now you can take off. And this is what is missing from, like, if you look at The Secret, many people watched The Secret back in 2008, and I think it was a fantastic movie for that time. Because what it did is it created a mass awakening in the world, the power of our thoughts, what the law of attraction is, visualizing. It created that real awareness. So then people started doing this, and it was interesting to see that some people actually got the results, but the majority of people did not. So what was missing there? So those people that saw that results, they didn't have the other side of the rope. They didn't have these massive blocks to that. So it was easy for them to make the transition. But for those that didn't see those kind of massive results, had this side of the rope that they were not looking at and not addressing. So once we do that, removing those blocks, and we go through the first 3 modules of this program, removing all of these blocks to bring ourselves into this point of neutrality. And from there, the magic begins, because now we learn, we have clarity, we tap into what is my purpose, because when you know your purpose, you don't need somebody on the outside to motivate you. You are there and you are inspired from within you. You get up in the morning and you're excited about life. You're in love with yourself. You're in love with your life. You're in love with what you do. So that inspiration does not need motivation from the outside, right? You're reprogramming your subconscious mind and you're becoming this person that leads this prosperous life. We talk about survival and thriving money. Survival money is like, I make enough money, but that money goes towards paying all the bills and the school fees and whatever else I've got to pay. But so I'm surviving. I'm rolling from month to month. I have the stuff that I want, but I don't have the big stuff. The stuff that I used to dream about when I was a kid. I don't have that big stuff, that big life. I'm not truly living my purpose, right? That's thriving money. And then, of course, we're going to use the universal laws, and we're going to align ourselves to be in accordance with these universal laws. So, this is something that happened. I used to run this program before as a mini course. It was like a four-week program. And from that 4-week program, I've had clients double and triple their income. I've had people get promotions. I've had people get new jobs with far better benefits. I've had 2 people actually manifested houses that they did not pay a cent for, right? That was really amazing. And I've had people leave their jobs and start their own businesses. So that was from that little program, right? So this one that we started now, this is a current client that's on the program, and you can read what he's saying about the program. And he's only just started, he's only on week 2, right? So what now? Now you have these 3 keys. You can do it yourself. You can take these 3 keys and you can say, right, let me work through these and let me now start implementing that in my life. And let's see if I can go ahead and double that income. Or the second option is you can sign up for the Becoming a Conscious Millionaire program. And now you have a community. You have a group of people that are all in the same place, all want the prosperity. And I promise you the discussion groups, I think Sharon is here in the group. She's in the current program, and she can maybe tell you how powerful the discussion groups are, because you have people coming together, really, really supporting each other, wanting the best for each other. It's such an amazing feeling, right? So the cost of the program is $997, but for right now, I have a special offer, and you will never, ever see the special offer again, right? Because it is a giveaway. For what you get in this program, I'm really, really giving it away. So until the 8th of December, which is a week from now, I'm offering the program at 8,888 rands. If you need a payment plan, you can contact me for that and we'll work that out. But that is what is on offer right now. You're getting 8 modules in this program. It's a really, really deep dive to completely transforming your money mindset, getting all those blocks out of the way, getting you aligned, getting you to become that person so that that is the reality that you manifest, right? You have 12 weeks to complete the program. And yes, we do take a break from the middle of December to about the 2nd week in January. So that's not counted in the 12 weeks. There will be 12 discussion groups that you come into, and you will get accountability buddies within the program so that you can check in on each other, and the accountability buddies become really best friends. Because you're on this path together, you're really supporting each other, you're checking in, hey, have you done your homework? You know, how did you do with this practice? And how's that? How did you understand this? It's really amazing when you immerse yourself in this kind of mind shift, right? So if this is something that speaks to you and it's something that you feel, yeah, I would like to take a dive into this program, you can either contact me directly or you can send an email to info@nextlevelup.co.za. So at this point, I'm going to stop the recording and then I'll take questions.